Mark seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the consent agenda is approved. Okay, open forum. Okay, there's two parts of this. We have an open forum for discussion, and then we're gonna reopen the public hearing on the Prairie Encore. So, is there people to speak in open forum, Kim?
I believe John Smerick.
Okay. Sure, just state your name and, where you're from.
There's a
I mean, there's a mic right there, yeah.
Okay, can everybody hear me? John Smerick. I live in the villages of Dardenne. I've been a resident of Dardenne Prairie for a little over 16 years now. Obviously, in that period, I've seen a tremendous amount of change within Dardenne Prairie. Seems to be accelerated over the past couple of years. I do think that one of the things that we do need in Dardenne Prairie is more commercial development. I don't like to see huge box stores by any stretch of the imagination, but in order to, in my opinion, keep Dardenne Prairie vibrant and around for the foreseeable future, I believe that we need to have some more commercial development. I believe we have enough apartment complexes now. I think we have enough residential facilities around now. So that's really kind of all I wanted to say.
Okay.
David Miller.
All right. My name is David Miller. I live at 625 Cruden Bay in Inverness subdivision, as do my wife and my 2 adult children. I want to thank you for the opportunity. I want to thank Mr. Knowles for his communication and attachments. I guess I would like to kind of address a little bit of the elephant in the room, and let's talk some money. According to some of the attachments we saw come out this week, the estimated sales tax from this development is going to be $750,000 a year, roughly. Okay. Property tax on that development will be $4,000 a year. I'm not quite sure where the apartment buildings fit into that sentiment. The gentleman before me said, yes, we need some commercial. We need some real estate or the sales tax. You know, the numbers seem to add up well for the developer, but not necessarily for the city. Okay, we need to think about the city's future, not the developer's future. I can personally say that my family does not plan to shop at any businesses in said development if there will be apartment buildings there. Another concern is the potential of Cora Marie Drive moving through the Inverness subdivision. From what I see, this is a move for the developer to move the cost of that controlled intersection from his development to the city and the taxpayers. Once again, we need to put the residents before the developers. In addition, I've got over 30 years of experience in the transportation department. Having that street move through the city or move through Inverness is going to add a lot of traffic through there. People will find the path of least resistance, and having 2 controlled intersections within 0.2 of a mile is going to add a lot of congestion to that area. They will take a right turn through Cora Marie, through Inverness, Grand Inverness Parkway to go west on Feisey Road. I guarantee it. If you'd like to connect Inverness to these developments, my suggestion is a golf cart path. It's a golf cart community, much like when Bainbridge was built. They didn't want Devon Drive connecting to Bryan Road. We do not want Inverness connected to Bryan Road. Once again, I thank you for your time. My message is just say no. Hope to see every one of you tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the Board of Aldermen. I also would like to speak at the public hearing, and I'll keep my comments for Mia Rose and their 15-year, 100% tax abatement deal, which I'll go into those details. I'll go into that in the public hearing. But I wanted to bring to you some legislation in Jefferson City that will be affecting Darden Prairie. Just this morning, House Bill 1145 deals with home inspections. This will prohibit all political subdivisions from requiring a property owned to have a home inspection conducted of residential property regarding the sale of a property. And so there's been some cities, including Darden Prairie, that require a home inspection when you put your house on the market for real estate. This bill would prohibit it. And so that was just heard in the hearing today under, I'm trying to think what committee that was. I believe it was downsizing government. So I wanted to bring that to your attention because Darden Prairie has that obligation and that ordinance requiring citizens to do an inspection before selling their property. On HB 978, home-based work, from last year, that took that away from the ability of local governments to regulate home-based work. There's some issues in this legislature to deal with the clarity of that legislation and the details, the hours of operation, the parking situation. I think there's going to be an amendment next week. You have to park in front of the residential house instead of parking on other areas of the street or other residential houses adjoining the home-based business. There's some noise concerns that were brought up in the legislation from last year. And the biggest stumbling block is the legislation in last year's bill took away the requirement of municipalities requiring a business license for home occupations. And so that's on the table for discussion. I'm not sure if it's going to be come to some type of agreement or not. And then finally, the fee for that. There's a lot of municipalities across Missouri that are charging $100, $200, and $300. I know that O'Fallon has a $25 fee now. They have on the April 4th ballot a $75 fee minimum, and then the fee will be based on square footage of the business. And so that is of concern, as we as Missourians pay 54% of our income that comes into our households goes out to some form of federal, state, county, local municipality, or special district in terms of taxes. It's gotten to the point where we as citizens in Missouri are working for the government, and the government is not working for us because we don't start paying our families until July 10th.
Your time has expired.
And if I could just have 3 seconds here. So there's a lot of issues facing local government and special districts. And there's a lot of issues in the state legislature for local control issues. Just want to bring that to your attention. Thank you.
Speaking to President or husband of the association, they also thought we still had requirements for home inspections. That was done away with, so we no longer have the. But it wasn't? I thought we put to have that taken away.
No, we never have.
Came back to.
Okay, then I've got something on my list to talk about.
Okay. All right. So
My bad. I'm glad I said something then.
all right, yeah. Okay, is there anybody else to speak in public or the open forum? Sir, did you fill out a sheet? Did you fill out a sheet? Well, okay, no, if you want to speak, just fill out a sheet real quick and turn it into Kim.
Yes. While we're waiting, I'd like to say something. If you've looked at the agenda for tonight, other than the Prairie Encore, there's nothing on our agenda that we're going to handle, other than consent agenda and a few open items, people speaking. There's been some comments that we should broadcast what we're doing, or we should record it to send it out later. Those are all great ideas. But if it wasn't for Prairie Encore, there wouldn't be anybody out here tonight. So our meetings get pretty boring is what I'm trying to say. So if you want to continue to coming to the meetings, I'd be more than happy to see people out there. But as soon as this issue is settled, I'll guarantee you that there won't be one or two people sitting in the audience. So
Kim Thompson.
Good evening. Thank you all for your service and what you do for our community. My wife and I are relatively new. We just moved in last February. And, I think I would just resound with what a lot of other people are saying, that as people who have put down stakes in this community and bought a home, we would prefer not to see an apartment complex go in that corner. Traffic congestions, other concerns like that. We are, I bet we could find something else to do with that land that would draw revenue for the community and not create the hazards or the things that we would prefer not to have. That's it. Thank you.
First by Dave, Wyland, second by Justin. All in favor?
I
Any opposed? Hearing none, the public hearing is reopened. Anybody to speak in a public hearing, Kevin?
Yes. Cheryl Bratton.
My name is Cheryl Bratton. My husband and I live on Cruden Bay Court in Inverness subdivision. In keeping with December's usual gift-giving customs, 12 days before last Christmas and 71 days since, you've received constant presents from Darden Prairie citizens. It's spelled differently, but since the first rezoning and development proposal for North Bryan Commercial went before P&Z on December 14th, Darden Prairie residents have indeed made their presence known. Before that first hearing, most of us didn't know each other, and even though some of us do live on the same street, we were little more than friendly neighbors. Yet, because our reactions to Mia Rose's plans were nearly identical, we evolved into a group that exists in its purest form at the local level of United States government. We are a grassroots movement, and as such, we've given the city our time, our energy, research, commitment, resolve, and I dare remind you, our presence. You'll notice we tend to refer to ourselves as residents, citizens, or constituents, while city officials describe us as stakeholders. Ironically, a recommended synonym for stakeholder is collaborator. As collaborators, we trusted city officials to accurately communicate citizen concerns regarding North Bryan Commercial. Obviously, that didn't happen. Instead, the changes are a laughable set of revisions that might have taken 15 minutes using freshman level CAD software rather than 83 days. By endorsing Mia Rose's proposal for Bryan and Ficey, you'll not only be squandering an important parcel of commercially zoned real estate, but your own legacy as well. Bryan is a heavily traveled roadway. This is your chance to ensure When people enter Darden Prairie city limits, the area is distinguishable from O'Fallon and other nearby cities. That can't be accomplished with this proposal. You want people to sit up and take notice, not roll their eyes and question the need for another gas station, a pretend luxury apartment complex, and a liquor store designed by the same folks who created Disney's Country Jamboree. Tom Kamen misuses the word luxury, the same way he wants you to misuse the land as designated in the comprehensive plan. He advertises certain countertops and flooring and tile and stainless steel appliances as unique luxury features. But if those products can be ordered at a Home Depot and the apartment building overlooks a gas station and a hillbilly liquor store, it's time you question his definition of luxury. Be insulted by this proposal. The chance to create a brand for this city is the rarest of opportunities. Depending upon how you vote, you can either hear about it for the rest of your days or be congratulated for waiting for a developer who's interested in serving this community with appropriate and respectful commercial development.
Tim Galvin,
This thing on? Is it on?
Yes.
Okay, I've kind of lived through a number of zoning changes on that corner. Started out as residential, moved to commercial. Well, actually, I guess it started out as all commercial for the whole BOP property. Then it eventually went partially residential. And then what you see now is mostly residential. And then the corner left as C2. My objection is kind of technical in nature, and that is, number one, your zoning plan is out of date. When I went on the website to look at it, it still shows all the old zones. The fact that you have something called mixed use, I did a search in the code, there's nothing called mixed use in there. There's something called mixed zone, multiple use, meaning that you can do multiple things within a zone, but it doesn't say you can mix zones. It also says that you can attach a PUD to any zone. That doesn't say you can attach a PUD to multiple zones. So I'd like you to take a look at that. And if indeed it says what I think it does, then I think this whole development is a little bit off base. You can't put a dwelling in with commercial real estate. That's all I have.
Laura Gettemeyer,
Good evening, Laura Gettemeyer, 6 Jura Court. Tonight, I wanted to talk about the Prairie Encore project. To date, residents are across the board, all consistent with a firm no for this proposed development. Of particular concern is the 4-story apartment buildings. Regarding tax incentives, a project like the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency in North St. Louis City is a good example of how tax incentives are supposed to work. The city of St. Louis has provided tax incentives, including property tax abatement, as well as paying for land acquisitions. It is estimated that St. Louis City will receive with its new NGIA headquarters $2.4 million in earnings tax. Therefore, this project is bringing a number of jobs to North St. Louis City. Plus, as the area in North St. Louis City is the former site of the Pruitt-Igoe housing project decades ago, it is a blighted area. Thus, in this instance, it is appropriate that tax incentives are being used to entice development in North St. Louis City. The Prairie Encore project is neither bringing in a huge influx of jobs to Darden Prairie or being built in a blighted area. Tax incentives should not be on the table. The projected revenue impact should show, instead of comparing no development to the project with tax incentives, what the development would bring with no 15-year tax abatement. Comparing the project with a 15-year abatement to no development is not a meaningful comparison. Residents want to know how much money would not be paid to the library, ambulance district, Wentzville School District, Duckett Creek, fire department, etc. Residents would like to see a comparison on the impact between what the project would have generated with no tax incentives to what the project would generate with tax incentive, instead of looking at what the undeveloped land generates currently with respect to taxes. If the city is so desperate for tax revenue, which has been mentioned to be able to fix city roads, for example, then why is the city entertaining a project that is using tax incentives? And does the mayor and board feel like Darting Prairie is a blighted area? Most blighted areas are not situated next to $800,000 homes. Residents asked if the city had done any studies as to the need for more apartments. The city advised that they had not done any studies. They cite, according to the St. Charles Economic Development Council, multifamily has led the growth in St. Charles County for the past year. However, that growth has been concentrated in multifamily in 2022, does not address the large influx of apartments being built in Darden Prairie and O'Fallon, which would illustrate that there would be a glut of apartments in the future, even without Prairie Encore. The city has not shown residents that the apartment complex is urgently needed. Residents I've spoken to have not expressed the idea that the area must be a park or remain undeveloped. Residents simply believe that the right development should go there, and the right development does not include a gas station, convenience store, and apartment complex, and it certainly does not include tax incentives. Thank you.
Savare,
Good evening. My name is Marco Sover. My wife Barbara and I live at 634 Cruden Bay Court. I appreciate the commitment that you as aldermen are making to our city and the improved communication from the city administrator with information about the new proposed development and the answers to our previous questions. I stand before you today to oppose the proposed mixed-use development by Mia Rose at the corner of Brian Weiss. While I understand the allure of finding a development for this property, I cannot in good conscience support it for several reasons. First and foremost, the excessive tax benefits provided to the developers do not bring significant revenue for the city. They increase the burden on our schools and emergency services without property tax contribution and set a dangerous precedent for future developments in our community. If we allow this project to move forward with such a disproportionate level of incentives and financial support, it sends a message that we prioritize the interests of the developers over those of our citizens. This could lead to a slippery slope where developers continue to demand more and more tax benefits at the expense of the community. We already have this model at Darden Prairie from Mia Rose in the Prairie development at Bryan and Route 364. We do not need a second one. The revised proposal is quite financially appealing for the investors, Mr. Kamen and Mr. Cook. As a matter of fact, I would jump on their bandwagon if I did not care as much about this city and about our citizens. The proposal is not the best use of one of, I keep hearing, the last highly commercially appealing areas remaining in the city. The Mia Rose development means increased city taxes, what I calculate over 2.5%, to offset developers' costs, and zero property tax revenue for 15 years. This may not hurt as much the city's coffers, but it will hurt the schools, EMS, firefighters, and the police. We need to see the rate of return analysis from the city side to understand whether this is financially beneficial to the city and the residents. Furthermore, while mixed-use developments can have their benefit, this particular project has not been adequately vetted to ensure that it will benefit our community. We need to take a more holistic approach to development, one that prioritizes the needs and desires of the people who live and work here. The proposed development is not consistent with the city's vision, and without proper community input and planning, this development could negatively impact the character and the livability of our neighborhood. Lastly, I'm concerned about the long-term consequences of this project. While the short-term benefits of a new development may seem attractive, we must consider also the long-term impact to the community. Excessive tax and investment incentives for developers could lead to budget shortfalls and cuts to important public services like education, healthcare, and infrastructure. I understand it. Just give me 1 second. In conclusion, while I support the responsible development that benefits our community, I cannot support this particular use. At a recent working session, the alderman and the mayor committed to involve residents in forums to renew the city's vision for town square and technology drive zones. We ask you to postpone approving zoning changes and include the development on Feisty and Bryant as part of this vision. Otherwise, your choices today would not reflect the renewed direction for Darden Prairie. I challenge our residents, city administrators, and our aldermen to make a bold move and commit to making Darden Prairie stand out from the rest and live up to a new progressive vision. Thank you.
Filson,
Good evening, Mayor Gotway and Board of Aldermen. My name is Roxanne Filson, and I live at 501 Creel Court in the Inverness subdivision. Darden Prairie's comprehensive plan was board approved 2.5 years ago in a unanimous vote, and 4 of those who approved it are currently on the dais. The plan is a direct expression of the desires of the community. It is the primary source or foundation upon which your decisions are made. The land use plan establishes the vision of the local government for the use of its land resources. By implementing the land use plan, primarily through the passing of zoning ordinances, the local government acts toward achieving its vision. There are proposed revisions to the plan that the Planning and Zoning Commission has postponed. However, the revisions reemphasize the fact that the remaining BOP land, currently Zone C2, should be reserved for commercial development. When we built in Inverness, that was the zoning advertised. Nothing in the plan foreshadowed that the land would be rezoned for multi-use and that a 4-story apartment complex would be rezoned and built. On December 14th, 2022, the Planning and Zoning Commission voted to recommend disapproval of the proposed zoning change. In addition, your regulatory municipal code states that multiple family dwellings must abut or be adjacent to property that was or is to be acquired for a federally funded interstate highway project. We see no evidence to indicate that Bryant or Feisty is going to become an interstate highway. Thus, the current proposal is not only inconsistent with the unanimously approved plan, but also with Darden Prairie's municipal code. Earlier, I described the comprehensive plan as the foundation on which city decisions are made. So in closing, I'd like you to compare the plan to a new Lego set. If you follow the plan, skip a step, eliminate pieces, don't pay attention to the details, your Lego set, like the city's future land uses, is never going to work out as envisioned. Thank you for your time this evening.
Trish Linderman,
My name is Rich Linderman. I live in Cambridge in Darden Prairie. I've got a lot of concerns about the plan as I've seen in the handout that you sent out. Primarily just looking at a 4-story apartment complex. How anybody going to take a venture how high that's going to be? I'm assuming somewhere between 50 to 60 feet in height, elevation from ground level. If I lived in Inverness, I'd be raising more hell than I already have. It just doesn't make any sense. I look at the access onto Feisty, where it looks like there's going to be 2 access points on there. It's going to be almost impossible how to get out of Bainbridge without having a light somewhere in here. And it just it just doesn't seem like you're using your head by putting in a 190 apartment complex in there. So I'd ask you not to put the 190, unit in and look for additional or different type of development in that area. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Alderman. Okay. Like this? All right. My name is Pam Walsh. I live in the subdivision of Bainbridge, and I am also here to talk about the Bryan Road and Feisey Road development. I don't think any of you gentlemen sitting up there would really want this development in any one of your backyards or even across the street from your backyard. The people in Bainbridge and in Versness, if you build this with the one right down here on Hinkie and the one right down here you're contemplating on Bryan and Feisey, we'll never get out of a subdivision, ever. I don't know what is wrong with building a nice complex for the residents to go to enjoy themselves, that brings in tax revenue other than tax revenue from the citizens, our tax rebates. You know, we were told many years ago, maybe long before some of you even existed in this community, but John, you were here. Tim, you were here. And I think a couple other ones. Dave, I think you were here. When we talked about this nice, like Gaslight Square kind of community that we were going to have, and with the developments that I'm seeing, all I'm seeing is development of multi-complex subdivisions going in. Now, we're not talking 1 or 2, 3 buildings. We're talking massive structures that is really going to impact our roads. Do we have funds saved aside from all of this to repair the roads for all this traffic we're going to get, or to widen them, or to put traffic lights in? Because I know for one, Bainbridge is going to need one, or we will never get out, or there's going to be accidents, or I'm going to have to go up like a school guard and let the people out of the subdivision. I don't think it's too unrealistic to ask you guys to please sit up there and come up with a better plan for this property up there. This is prime commercial property. I don't know why in God's name you want to put another one of these massive complexes up there. It perplexes me to death, other than rebates you get from the government. I don't think our community is doing that bad that we need any more government funding than what we're getting. I think what we need in this community is businesses. We need some businesses. Thank you for listening to me. Bless you guys.
Arnie Dina.
Thank you very much, members of the Board of Aldermen, Arnie C. AC Dinoff, County Public Advocate. And I am really sick and tired of developers who come here with their hand out in a welfare state. They want you to pay for their infrastructure. It's totally unfair. It's ridiculous. St. Charles County and Darden Prairie are the places that people want to target to put businesses because they're making money hand over fist. So the greedy developers, these owners, are millionaires. They can afford their own infrastructure from their own wallet. Why is the city of Darden Prairie entertaining a $60 million finance bond that you're on the hook for if they default? And so are the residents behind me that are your bosses, being the stockholders. The last request of Mia Rose was for $15 million over 15 years of not paying taxes. The request now for Mia Rose is $9 million of 100% tax exemption, which is tax abatement, while the Wentzville School District loses 67% of the possibility of getting those taxes. And that's a crying shame, along with the St. Charles County Community College District. This property is prime, top-notch quality real estate. Stop giving away the store. Stop waiting for or trying to get this all buttoned up and a contract made, and you're not waiting for a good development. You're just reaching out for anything that comes about. This property is top-notch. Do not pay the way for the developer any longer. You're going to make millions of profits from the 190 apartment units. They're going to be $1,200 to $3,000 per month. This is in lieu of taxes, while the citizens are paying for, paying their way, and they paid for their infrastructure at their homes. This developer wants the city to pay for roads, landscape, water, sewer, retention, detention, electric lines, street lights, natural gas lines, the creation of a community improvement district, another layer of government, and another 1% sales tax to citizens. They want to create a transportation development district, another layer of government with administrative costs, consultants, and more secrets, and another 1% sales tax. Darden Prairie is all behind the developer and not listening to the citizens behind me. And I cry, my heart cries out that you don't listen to the citizens. The greed in the giving away of the store needs to be reined in tonight, right now. This property at Fisey and Bryan Road is not a blighted area in any shape, fashion, or form. Don't let the developer kid you or con you or tell you otherwise because he wants tax abatements and he wants a free ride. I understand, Mr. Mayor, it's expired. This is a joke, and I ask you to defeat this project once and for all. Thank you.
That was the last speaker.
Thank you for your comments. All I'm gonna say is I hear what you're saying, but there's a whole lot of misinformation. Well, hopefully we'll clear things up tomorrow night at the town hall meeting where we can actually dialogue back and forth. Thanks for coming and hope to see y'all tomorrow at the town hall meeting.
Are we continuing this to?
Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted, excuse me, just one second. I do want to make sure, because I know sometimes people leave before we get to the staff reports. Over on the buffet over there, there's 2 sign-in sheets. Now, I know a lot of you are on our email communication chain. I'll explain a little bit in my report about the importance of this, but if you'd also like to get updates via text, there's a sign-in over there. You can put your name, email address if you're not currently on our email chain, but also your cell phone number that you can get SMS messaging to. And I'll explain a little bit of that in my report here in a few minutes, but I didn't want anybody to leave without that opportunity. When we get to the staff reports in about 5 minutes, I will talk about a new communication plan that the city's engaging on. So before you leave, if you'd like additional communications, make sure you sign in. Sorry, Mr. Mayor, go ahead.
Go ahead. No,
Continue to the 15th.
it's pretty much,
You need a motion to continue this to the 15th?
yeah, I need a motion to continue the open hearing till
So moved.
15th. Got a
Second.
motion, a second, Justin, Mike. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we're gonna continue the public hearing till the next board meeting, March 15th. So.
Same
that's
for
it.
the next. Same for the next. Old business. Old business.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Postpone to the.
Old business, get a motion to,
I don't know when you want to postpone it to, so that's just.
this is postponed till tonight.
Yeah, but we're gonna just postpone.
We're gonna postpone it till the 15th.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll second.
Got a motion to postpone Bill 2274 until the next meeting, March 15th. Got a second by Mike. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we'll postpone Bill 2274 till March 15th. Okay, staff communications. And again, James is going to address a few questions or a few questions or comments after close the meeting. It's in, the town hall meeting is going to be in ICD's basement in the basement in the, of the church, parish hall. Yeah. Not the parish hall. The DOC is a different building. The church itself, the basement of the church. So it's a social hall in the basement of the church. Yes. Yeah, it's where you vote for this. For some people, I don't know for all people, but
For people who voted ICD, it's where you vote.
yeah. Okay, so staff communication, city attorney,
I have nothing, Mayor.
city engineer.
Yes, sir, Mayor. In addition to my report, briefly, I just wanted to share with the board and the chamber. There were 71 applications submitted through the STP federal program for $147 million in federal aid. There's actually $73 million available. So that just goes to show you we're in competition, as you all know. On the CMAQ money, there were 22 applications totaling $49 million of requests and $34 million of available money. So again, just wanted to share that with you. I recently obtained that information from East West Gateway today.
Okay,
Thank you, Mayor.
all right. Thank you, Tom. City administrator, James.
Sure. And I want to thank you all for coming out and giving us some more of your thoughts and concerns. It's something that we're continuing to try to record. It's things I'm also passing along to the developers to make sure that tomorrow night's presentation tries to address some of the questions you might have. I did want to address a few things that were asked tonight that I do have information readily available. I know there's a concern that's continuously brought up about Cora Marie Drive and where this came from and why it traverses the creek and Bryan Road. That was part of the original Inverness plan. The Inverness subdivision already dedicated that right of way to city to make that connection. Whether this development goes in or not, that is going in there at some point. That is planned. That has been part of the plan since this development was approved. If that does not go through, when Inverness Phase 3 is built out, traffic study that was paid for by McKelvey says that we might have to put a light on FISE at Grand Inverness Parkway to the total expense of the city, very considerable expense of the city. So this is something that, again, this is something that we didn't come up for this development. This is something that's been planned. This development will pay for that. The city doesn't have to pay for it, which is a considerable benefit to the city, but it is something that we are holding the developer accountable to pay for. Also, there was a comment about the ambulance district and fire district about them losing out on property taxes. Right now, right now the ambulance and the fire district, what they're getting out of that property tax a year is about 20% of $5,000, so not very much money. They, even with the Chapter 100s, the ambulance district and the fire district gets their entire property tax collection. They don't get that abated under state law. So they would be getting about $50,000 a year in property taxes alone, even with the Chapter 100 abatement. And I'll point you to what I sent out, and if you're not on the list, I would encourage you can go to the city's website. All the documents that I've been emailing out, I did post to the website. On the front page, you can go to the Encore update, and there's a document called One Pager, which goes over the incentive package and what the generation is to the city. So you could see there that where it talks about the property taxes that it does generate are going to first responders because they are exempt from the Chapter 100 abatements. Everyone else would not be able to collect theirs. So you'll be able to see what that is. And it also does show, I know there was a question about what the city, quote unquote, is going to get out of this. The sales tax generation, what they expect to get over the 10 years is just under $4.5 million. So $450,000 a year in tax revenue the city will get even after the Chapter 100s. The city's property tax is so minute. What the city is giving up in Chapter 100s is very small. What we're getting in retail is very large. And so that's what you're seeing on that graph. You'll see that what the city's getting in property taxes, what, $80,000 after $4,000 a year. Once they do start paying taxes, we're only getting $4,000 a year in taxes out of that property taxes. But that's for the entire project, But what we're getting out of sales taxes in the early stages, about $450,000. It's going to raise to about $600,000 a year in taxable sales. So I just want to make sure that was, if it wasn't clear from the projections that I posted out there, I wanted to make sure I answered that question. I know Mr. Hover had that question. So, and then just as a point of information, the issue about the bonds. So Chapter 100 bonds, the city or the taxpayers are on the hook for the bonds themselves. That's not something that's very clear in the ordinance. It's very clear in the statute. It's not something that we are the city or the citizens are financially on the hook for. It directly tied to the project. So I know that that's continuously said, but it's not something that actually affects the credit rating or the financial standing of the city in that regard. So, but I'm happy to talk afterwards if people have other questions. If you have more questions that you'd like either the city or the developer to answer, especially for tomorrow night, I'd encourage you to keep those emails coming. I'm still collecting that information, passing it along to the developer, and I know that they've been working very diligently to answer all those. So you should get a lot of answers tomorrow night, and so I encourage you guys to come. And come early as well, because they will be able to be there to show you some of this information casually, and you'll be able to have some conversation with some of their staff as well. I believe 5:30 they're opening the doors, 6:30 is the presentation, and then they intend to, I think, they have the room until 8 o'clock. So, okay, that's all I have, Mr. Well, one other thing. So the exciting thing, so we, the staff and I have been working very diligently on a communications plan for the city. We've now got well, so yeah, there's two things. Mayor just reminded me of one. So we do have a YouTube channel now. So all of these meetings, if you're really, really bored and you want to watch them again, you can go to the city's YouTube channel, and we are going to be posting. We have been posting. We're posting all of our filmed meetings on our YouTube channel so that you can watch, hear what happened. We're going to do them every day after the meeting. So tomorrow, sometime before noon, we should be able to post today's meeting on our YouTube channel. We also do have, we've begun using Constant Contact, which is both a newsletter marketing mailing service plus an SMS service, so text messaging service. So we'll be able to push out regular communications to you. Our intent right now is to put out a newsletter every Friday when our packet comes out before board meetings, so that you'll be able to get 4 or 5 days notice of information, both our packet information, but then also some information from the city, as well as other communications as necessary. So you'll be able to, I think by tomorrow, you'll be able to sign up online on our website to put yourself on that Constant Contact notice. So we're really excited that this is going to improve. And as we send those newsletters out too, they will simultaneously post to our Instagram, our Facebook, and that Nextdoor, which right now I'm doing manually, and that's very labor intensive. This is going to do it all for us automatically. So again, this should be able to reach a lot more people, keep all of you engaged and informed, hopefully much better than you have been previously, and also hopefully solicit more input and engagement from you, our in our future endeavors. So I'm excited about it. I don't know if you guys are, but hopefully hopefully it will help you in the future, get the information, the questions answered that you. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, James. So what I want to say is thanks everybody for engaging into city government. It's important. We don't go out and pull these people into the city to develop something. They come to us with different proposals. I have said from day one, I would not turn anybody down that was serious about doing something in Darden Prairie. I would bring it to the board. The board makes that decision. And we scrutinize these things. We've been scrutinizing this for quite some time. For people to think that there's just people out there just ready to do something in any city, whatever we can think of, that just go get them, let them do whatever we come up with. That's not how it works. I mean, so we've had people come and wanted to do some things, and I mean, I could say right away that no, that's not going to happen. So it's just hard to communicate that. I mean, because a lot of people have a lot of ideas that we're out there trying to slip something in on the city. We're not. I mean, we're trying to look out after what's best for the city. James and I spent last Thursday in Chesterfield, Economic Development Council from St. Charles and St. Louis. They had a meeting of developers. Okay. They had a panel, question and answers. They had developers, bankers. I mean, people from every city, elected officials from every city, from St. Charles to St. Louis. And these people that said that, look at guys, things have changed. They're tearing down Chesterfield Mall. The whole mall concept is gone. Exactly what they're building in Chesterfield Mall is going to be mixed use, apartments and. Well, what I'm saying is that any developer that wants to do anything in any city, they said this is what they're willing to do. That's it. Where? I mean, so all I'm saying is I'm giving examples of what these people are willing to do. I mean, so. Okay. Oh, yeah, okay, I'm sorry, yeah. I forgot, we got another closed session we have to go into. So, I mean, again, these secret little meetings, they're not secret little meetings to keep you uninformed, okay? So you will know when decisions are made out of these, okay? You will get the information, okay? So we will go into another closed session. Because you'll never get a decision made. Sorry, you will not get a decision made, Pam. You know that.
Well, such.
So. Okay, I got a motion to go into a closed session, pursuant to 6:10:02:1, 2, and 14.
So moved.
Got a motion to go in by
Second.
Justin, second by Mike. Tim, would you call the roll?
Alderman Castro,
Aye.
Alderman Johnson,
Aye.
Alderman Underbach,
Aye.
Alderman Wandling,
Aye.
Alderman Sansone,
Aye.
Alderman Riley.
All different parties of the discussion. Everybody remember election time. Everybody. Stay okay. Vote loud. Vote loud. Election time.
Thank you.
Just help.
What was your name? Where, what's her name? What was it like? Okay. So anyway, I guess. Call them up here one day and have a conversation with them. Yeah.
What part? Yeah, we heard it. Oh, so it's not. Oh, okay. Basically. Where they have the fish from? Yeah.
Some of that's in itself, okay? I'm gonna try, I'm not sure.
I'll see you next week. Hear what I said? Look at, we got a business. Oh, you keep it late. Oh, I'm not. I'm not with this, I wish you could. That's what he was. Oh, it's a map. Oh, yeah. You go at it. I really. What's shopping here? But I can't find. Well. I'm not gonna have to put the bug up. Doing now, it's a magnitude Charles. Magnitude. Oh. Yeah, I know. I've never seen it. The baby just. One, whatever happened with that? Oh. That guy was.
Also, they start opening up the. All of them. Oh, that's not what I'm. I could recommend it. Oh, that one. That's still working. J A. All right, that's right. That's what we need. I see. Says, this bill prohibits subdivision. Farm. And home construction. That, you know, doesn't. Well, I thought it was. How many people? Way to go. Oh, my God. Oh, so just. It's man.
Oh, is that like a crowd? Oh, no, it's not working. Oh, there's like one that's not- that's like a crowd. Okay. Oh, well, at least you guys. Oh, okay. What's their mark? I never do that. I choose. I watch my dad. If this falls to the net. I'm like, I'm a friend of yours. That's the guy. I'm like. I like that. I also. I had some. Yeah, make sure you don't have kitchen. You were a little spike. You got a nice.
I think it said something. Oh, they did. It's long, like. Wi-Fi. Oh. Okay. Next time, call me. Why did you post? Got everything down.
Oh. Anyway. Experience.
He's still here. Yeah, we were running the first thing. Well, we knew Jeff would be here. It's a buzz. Was asked. Really? Yes. Costco has got the best.
Oh, yeah.
It's the best and best. Well, I'm telling you, and they rotate, I mean,
I've got a wholesale from Cisco, so, and,
well, I'm just telling you for the cost. Yeah.
no, so
If you're buying retail, it's the best place to go.
I sold the market, but I kept all my wholesale agreements. So yeah.
But I mean, I'm talking about if you're buying
But
retail, that's.
I buy, Primus.
Call us back to order, John.
Hold on, man. Okay, got a motion to close?
No, you gotta call us back.
No, hold on. This, what? It's a closed session. We already closed that, right?
I'd like to know we have to call us back. We all get a raise.
We gotta go back into the regular session? This one. No, I wanna say something before we close out publicly.
I want to make sure everybody knows.
So that everybody knows that, Mark and I, you know, when we were down in Jeff City, we met with MoDOT, okay? About slip ramps.
Yeah.
Okay? And all I'm gonna say is we have a meeting Monday with the engineer and Amanda Brower. They said, yes, we will get something for you. Was there, I mean, they said we need to discuss this. It's not gonna be this crazy $10 million thing. It's
Yeah.
going to be what they the land that they have, that they own up there around, around Town Square. And then on, post in that area there, they're talking about
And
this.
we also talked to the Republican that said it's on the allocation committee that's behind us. We talked to the Democrat on the House side of the transportation, and she's a personal friend of mine, and they're behind us also,
And, Rich West,
right?
okay, who was the former mayor of Meli, he's on transportation.
Right.
And he said, yes, we will get this for you. So we're working on it.
Fun stuff.
Yes. All right, so now I got a motion to close,
Motion to adjourn.
a motion to adjourn the
Second.
regular meeting. Mike second.
So, second.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hear none. The regular Board of Aldermen meeting is adjourned.
I love you. I'll see you on that. I gotta go home before, they're just done recording, right?
Yeah.
Before I say that.
Right, exactly, yeah. They're all-
Yeah, like, oh.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Good for you.
Bye, guys. I'd love to. On Monday morning, I'm walking that out curve. I'm working.
Okay.
I'm getting.
I want you to sit.
I know, this is. I'm excited.
Oh, yeah, me too. I mean, I'm telling you. That check.
Mark.
I'm telling
I
you.
do.
Don't leave, that's fine. I'm going to.
I know.
Originally.
Don't leave me.
Push right through.
I'm close. Brian was, or I.
Probably. Don't, well, no, so you're probably bumped to 2017. Yeah, you shared french fries that even know.
This guy's got running class. Sitting there, it's all over. That's the first thing I asked him when he said, that's fine. So this one is. Oh, my God.
So, flying on but be flying bounces.
What's up, Arnie?
Yes, yes.
So.
Yeah. Come on. What happened to what?
And really good, I can breathe.
The ambulance?
Really.
Oh, there wasn't much. It was short and quick.
Oh, someone said something.
No,
What
there's a lot of
happened?
awards and stuff.
Somebody blew up. Spartan.
No, it was short and we were out there.
Somebody said somebody went off on somebody.
I'll send you an email.
There's a lot of awards.
So I went over to the, I will, we were able to say.
Is it like a student or a team meeting? No, bunch of people. You're also. It's also. Right. Awesome.
That's why it's all.
Yeah.
Right up the street on one road. I always say that. Yeah. I always say it's right up the street from the Capitol Place. It's a round white building.
Oh, it's old.
You always
Yeah,
have the best.
but it's nice.
That's
and-
what you know what?
You always have the best.
It's been a double- It was called, it's been Hilton forever. It's been a Hilton property. Yeah, yeah, because I always stay there. Because I get free breakfast. Saves the city money. I got free breakfast for John too, because being a gold member, you get it, I guess. for-
So did you learn anything?
Where? He was impressed. He was,
So you know about that?
oh yeah. But, yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of
How do
things.
you know her?
Just go up there all the time.
Oh. But she hasn't been a legislator there, but
But
maybe.
there was some, he asked me, he goes, do you know how you this all these representatives? Well, I saw so many of them that I had to say, and they're all like, Mark, you're back. And I go, well,
Sure, nice guy.
I get along. You know, so, you know, I testified on
Which bill?
SB.
Oh, gambling.
Well, no. SB 30
Oh.
is the one for the.
That's
for
the,
betting. That's for the
com-
machines. at gas station.
yeah. The gambling, yeah. Like mobile on the run, there's like they have like 10 things. It's like a casino.
Well, it's funny because Carla May said Well, she used to be my member for years.
Really?
Yeah, she's.
I didn't know she was at AT&T. She
No,
rubs me the wrong way. She acts like her shit doesn't stink.
Talking about this. I get up here, that's the way she's talking about all her little small businesses.
Last Tuesday.
The day we left.
Oh, okay.
In Wednesday. Anyway, I get up there. Look, I'm just. I'm a small city and all that. This would benefit our city. It was funny because Howard, he testified, he'd never done it before.
Oh, he didn't know how.
He goes, I'm just gonna follow you. I said, that's fine. But anyway, we get up there and
it is intimidating with the big thing.
it does. I mean, but if you've done it for. But if, I get up there next week. Thank you. Got some money, revenue. On my hand, if you know this. One all the business. Have some partner. Sure the 21. Install all these security. I said, so. Trying to help small businesses. Where are you gonna come up? Where are they gonna come up with the money to do all this and hire another employee to card people going through? I said, when you contradict yourself when we have open gambling everywhere in the state now, where I see teenagers buying lottery tickets every day at the grocery store.
You really?
Yeah. They have a vending machine. There are all those vending machines. Oh, yes. Those kids are walking up those vending machines everywhere in this.
I've never seen.
Yes. Next time.
Yeah. No, I see.
But the gas station's got them on there.
You could buy, I think there's $100 scratch off now. But you see the $100 scratch off?
But you know what? It was funny. They all looked at each other like. I said, well, you can't, now it's good for one part of gambling, but not the other. Wait a minute now. I said, you're gonna allow 5 machines in these small businesses. How is it gonna justify to build a room and to hire another? Let's be reasonable. I said, but I have another question. I'll build a moat in Darby. Had them all laughing.
On the creek.
Yep, we'll we'll make a moat there. We'll get in there. The lake there, if you gone, we just set it right there on the lake. Huh?
That's right. What else is going on?
That was pretty interesting though. You've never been up in the gallery or anything?
Lowry?
No.
I'm there from on Lowry.
No, John.
I thought there when I was a kid. He testified, John testified?
No, he just said. Lowry, yeah. And he testified real good too, because he testified on the part that I was a police chief for years. I fought these things, but then I go to prosecute them and there's no real laws to stick these people. When I go to prosecute them, I become the mayor and I realize all my adjoining cities have them, so I put them all back in. He goes, I'm not gonna hurt my businesses for my neighbor's business. And they're going, But then the boats are all talking about it. Because, it's not gonna hurt the boats.
No, wait till wager, gambling, sports game. That'll last this year.
There was a lot of people testifying on that. We had, Wit and Blues and it's the Royals and everybody.
That was the same day.
All the same day. House Bill 30 was, Senate Bill 30 was also.
I'll have to pull up that. You can't go to all the communities.
Oh, I know.
You have to have 5 people to do.
I mean,
See, you and I, we should get a lobby business together. We should run Burton and Lisi out and all those other Cooper, that
Yeah.
Cooper guy.
I know.
I'm sick of him.
I don't see Dawn up there. She used to have her, wall, next to the bicycle.
What's her last name?
Say, so remember. But you know where that new restaurant thing is? They host benefits all the time, right down from the Capitol. West.
It's in
Right next
Madison.
to the street.
It's Madison?
No, west of the Capitol.
Yeah. Oh, west.
West.
That's Broadway.
Yeah, right there, right down the street, there's a bicycle shop, coffee shop. And it's a new.
Oh, on Main Street.
Yeah, right there.
Oh, the bar, it's like an old brick.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
do it
yeah.
for events.
Off
So
the
she-
left.
Yeah, she used to have that loft upstairs, and I didn't, I wouldn't have been back in. Who you looking for? Those box? No, she don't live there.
You know what pisses me off? St. Charles County pays $1,000.
That's
Mike Gibbons.
St. Peter's.
You know Mike Gibbons? The state senator, Mike Gibbons.
Oh, yeah.
Berkeley, he gets $100,000.
St. Peter's pays.
Tom Dempsey. $100,000. Oh, Fowler does too. Foley, Burton Leasing. You know, Tony, Duggar. You know Tony Duggar? He's a Burton Leasing, he's a partner now. Got a Fowler.
Like I said, I haven't been. Oh, well.
Right.
All